Hey guys, Mark with Magazine Collector here, coming back at you for another virtual unboxing video. Have had quite a few submissions here and kind of all hitting at the same time here. So luckily I'm able to continue to kind of get these videos out weekly. Might be slowing down a little bit after the next few here, but we'll keep them coming as we can. This submission, we're going back to vintage again. Be my second or third vintage submission, and a little timing on this one, like I usually like to give. This order, it took 18 days from the time that CGC received my package until it was received into my account. Um, After that, it took an additional 37 days to grade. So by the time left my door to the time it gets back to my door, we're going to be 60 to 65 days. So that's been pretty typical lately. I've had a couple that have come back shorter than that, but I would say for the most part that's been pretty typical. This one, like I said, vintage submission. It's going to have a few more of my PC guys in it. Like I've mentioned in a couple past videos, there's a couple people that I PC, and it'll have some of those. It'll have a few that will be going up for sale. Yeah, really curious to see what I get back on some of these. Not expecting huge grades. It's tough with the vintage, so. Got a couple Sports Illustrateds, got a couple sport magazines, and I believe there's a Time magazine in here. So a little bit of a variety of vintage. So without further ado, let's jump into it here with issue number 1. Issue number 1 is going to be a repeat of a magazine I've sent in a few times, so I think this will be the third or fourth one I'm getting back of this one, and I've got a handful more to submit yet. So let's go number 1, see what we got. Ooh, a 3. Oh, yep. All right, I remember this one now. All right, so this is a cheaper. This is the 1956 Mickey Mantle. First Sports Illustrated subscription edition, of course. So this was a little bit cheaper copy of this that I picked up. It was pretty rough when I first purchased it. Did a nice, pretty clean label removal on it, and tried to clean up some of the stuff here as well. I'll open the picture here in a minute. But yeah, it came back a 3. Doesn't surprise me. Like I say, I don't have a whole lot in this, and I still think I love this cover in about any grade. You get some of these, and you've got tears all over and rips and different things where the cover just doesn't look good. And this cover I still think presents pretty good, even though it's got some staining on it. Yeah, issue details again. June 18th, 1956. This is the first Mickey Mantle. This is the non-centerfold variant, so a little more common than the centerfold variant is. Some grader notes. Detached centerfold. Well, that's interesting, being there is no centerfold, but anyhow, they must be calling one of the other inside pages. I think it's page 36 or page 41, I think, maybe is what they're referring to as the centerfold here. Staining on the cover, yep, staple rust, water staining, and staple rusted cover. So let's bring up a picture of this here. Yeah, and here's what I was saying. There is a decent amount of staining on here, but I still think you step back and you look at this, it's still a decent looking cover. So got a 3 primarily for all the staining on it, but like I say, I was able to do a pretty good label removal on there. Typically the label is right here on this issue, but it looks to me like it was right here, as you can kind of see some of the glue lines on it, but a lot cleaner than you'll see some of the label removals on this issue. A lot of times they'll leave a fair amount of white residue left over, but that's fairly clean. take a quick look around this guy. Like I said, it had lots of staining on it. But still, I think from ways out, it still presents okay. So, back is actually fairly clean on this guy. Not terrible in comparison to the front. All right, let's take a look at the census here. So this is looking at the subscription edition. And in subscription, there's 194, 192, quite a few in that 6 to 8 range. And again, I believe this one was a 3, so that puts it up to 3 3.0s. All right, cool. Hopefully that is the lowest grade I receive this whole unboxing. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, another copy of the same magazine, a little bit better grade this time. Again, June 18th, 1956, Sports Illustrated mantle. I'm going to go right to the picture here. And like I was saying earlier, this is an example of a little less clean label removal, where it leaves that that residue there, and some of the label has kind of come off with the glue, and that's what it looks like. Rest of the magazine, though, obviously a lot cleaner, so you don't have all the staining on it and the rust that was being referred to on the other one. So 7.5, I'll definitely take that on the mantle cover. Probably one of my top 2 or 3 favorite SI covers of all time. So I try to pick up those mantle 56 SIs whenever I can. A couple of greater notes: spine stress lines, very common on this cover. The staples must have some rusting on them. That does not surprise me. A tear on the top right of the back cover. We'll take a look at that. Moisture exposure and soiling on the cover. I didn't really see that with the quick look, but let's take a look at this tear they're referring to here. Oh yeah, I can see it already. Right there, right there. So small tear, but still I'm sure a decent deduction for that. But I will still take that as 7.5. 7.5 on the mantle. A little bit of sales information on this issue. Again, we're talking subscription here. With this issue, when you start talking newsstand, it's a lot more money. But on the subscription, recent sales, there's been a 7.0 sold for $700, a 7.5 sold for $600, which sales don't always make sense, but that's what you get sometimes, where the 7.5 actually sold less than the 7.0. And then there was a 6 sold recently for $600. So this 7.5, you know, be in that 700 plus range. I will take that. All right, let's move on to number 3. So that should be the only duplicates in my order here. Move on to a few different things with number 3. Okay, 6.5 on the July 1962 Sport Mickey mantle. I didn't count them, but there are quite a few Sport Mickey Mantle magazines. I know there's at least 2 before this. I'm probably forgetting about other ones, but this is a little bit later for him, actually, 1962. Some of the greater notes on this one: spine stress lines, reader's crease on the front cover, finger bends, soiling, smudge on the right center of the front cover, and reader's crease on the front cover. So let's take a look at this guy here. Zoomed out, I think that presents really well. You know, from this view, there's nothing obvious that you go that doesn't make that a good looking magazine. So if we zoom in a little bit, take a little bit closer look here, you can see some of your binding kind of coming detached a little bit. A little bit of wear on the back of Mickey here. But all in all, I think that looks pretty good. I think looks pretty good for 6.5. Let's take a look at the back. There you can kind of see where we saw on the front where that you're getting a little bit of peeling on your spine there. But again, I think it looks pretty good. It looks strong. So I believe this might be the only copy I have of this one right now, so that'll probably go in my collection. But definitely be looking for more of them that can maybe up that grade a little bit. So yeah, anyhow, 6.5 on the 1962 July Sport magazine newsstand. Let's take a look at the census real quick on this guy. I had a 6.5, so that'll make 4 6.5s. Above that, we have a 7, 7.5, and 8, 8.5. So 8.5 is top pop on this magazine. So 10 total graded. Let me see here. So I only found one comparable sale on this, and it was actually another 6.5, and it sold for $235. So you know, I'd be in that range or above that a little bit. So pretty cool. All right, let's move on to issue number 4 here. All right, we're back to Sports Illustrated. This is Sports Illustrated, July 16th, 1956. Got an 8.0. This is a newsstand. So this issue's got three little bit lesser known guys on it. I don't think any of them are in the Hall of Fame. But just it kind of caught my attention when I saw it, and looked in pretty decent shape, so I went ahead and picked it up and got the 8.0 on it. So that's not too bad. Let's see here. Spine stress lines on the cover, finger bends, piece out of the left bottom of back cover, and foreign substance top of back cover. So piece out of the left, foreign substance on the top. Oh, there is just a little chunk of cover missing right there. Foreign substance on the top. Hard to say in this picture. Nothing's catching my eye right off the bat. Might be a little staining here. Let's take a look at the front. So this is a pretty interesting magazine, and something I didn't know before I picked it up. I did a little looking into why it was the Red Leg Muscleman here. So the Reds, it was from 1953 to 1959. Were actually officially known as the Red Legs instead of the Reds. I never knew that until I started looking up this issue a little bit. I don't know the entire story behind it. It had something to do with all the communism stuff happening at the time, and they didn't want to be associated with the Red Scare, which has to do with the Soviet Union. So yeah, for I think it was 6 years there, they were officially known as the Red Legs. So it's kind of an interesting little tidbit on this magazine. But yeah, and then the three guys on the cover are Gus Bell, Ted Kluszewski, and Wally Post. So again, not any Hall of Famers there. I believe they're all in the Reds Hall of Fame. So good quality players. Just none that have a ton of name recognition from the era. But again, I thought the cover was pretty neat and got an 8.0. So I'm happy with that. Take a look at the census here. So I had an 8.0, so that makes 2 8.0s. There's 2 8.5s and 3 9.2s for the top pop of this guy. A little bit of sales data. So recent sales, there was a CGC 5.5 sold for $400. And then there was a CGC 8.5 sold for $495. So those are the only two that I can find for the past couple years, actually. So this is an issue. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do with this guy. I'm not a huge Reds fan myself, so this is probably one that will go up for sale. But still, I think it's a cool looking cool looking issue and was worth getting graded. All right, let's move on. Number 5. Okay, 7.0. This is another Sports Illustrated, June 25th, 1956. This is the first Warren Spahn cover. Warren Spahn, great left-handed pitcher in history. I believe he's got the most wins of any left-handed pitcher in history, actually. So definite Hall of Famer there. And again, when you see one like this in newsstand, this is one I had to pick up. So again, looked to be in really good condition. From this view here, it sure looks to be in nice condition. I would have expected better than a 7, honestly. So let's take a look at the grader's notes. Staple detached, center of centerfold, staple detached, bottom of centerfold. Okay, so the centerfold was coming loose a little bit, basically, is what that is. Spine stress lines, reader's crease, and a stain top, left top of front cover. I think I actually saw that when I was zoomed out right here. You can see a little bit of staining, but I think the biggest thing that brought that grade down was the centerfold becoming detached, but that magazine still presents very well for something that's from 1956. So very cool. I really like that one. There's the back. The back actually looked really nice. So I did a little bit of cleanup on the back of this one. I remember before I sent it. Some of these covers that have this white, when they get a little soiling to them, you can do some cleaning on them. So on those white covers, so it makes it a little bit easier rather than it colored color. It's really tough to do any type of cleaning with. All right. 7.0, let's take a look at the census. 7.0, mine was, so now there's 2 of those. There's 4 7.5s, there's an 8, 3 8.5s, and a 9. So 9 is top pop on this magazine. 17 total graded. All right, on to Warren Spahn. The only sales data that I could find was a 7.5 recently that sold for $210. All right, let's move on to number 6 here. $7.5. Okay, so this is Sport Magazine, August 1951, Yogi Berra. I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is his first sport cover, and I actually love this cover of him. There's lots of pictures of Yogi out there who's, top 3, 4 catchers of all time, and something about this picture just really caught my eye. Between this one and his first SI cover, I love them both. That SI cover is just a super close picture of Yogi's face. And I love that. And this is the other one of Yogi that I really, really like. So again, 1951. Some of the graders' notes: spine stress lines again, water stain on the back cover, foxing on the back cover, spine stress lines, and a crease. So it looks like most of the grader notes have to do with the back cover. So let's take a look here. Yeah, there you have a little bit of that foxing and staining. And like I was just saying with the previous issue, sometimes you can clean that off, especially with this being white here. In this case, it did not come any cleaner than this at all. So this is what we're left with and what I had to send in. Yeah, quite a bit of staining, foxing to this back cover. They did mention a crease on the back cover. Maybe down here. I'm not exactly sure where they were referencing, but anyhow, switch to the front cover here. Again, nice looking cover there. I love that picture of Yogi, and it is in pretty good condition. All right. Let's take a look at the census for this one. I have a 7.5, which now makes two 7.5s. There is one 8 and two 8.5s. 8.5 is your top pop. 11 total graded. Sales. There was only one. I believe it was quite a while ago, if I remember right. There's a 7.0 sold for $150. So personally, to me, this will probably go in my personal collection until I can get something that grades a little bit higher. All right, on to number 7. 4 or 5. Okay. So October 1952 Sport magazine. This is Jackie Robinson. I believe this is Jackie's 3rd sport cover, if I remember right. And it's probably one of my least favorite ones of Jackie. Definitely more so than the earlier two. I really like. This one's not quite as high on my list, but still good looking cover. I expected a little bit better than a 4 or 5, if I remember right when I sent this in, so curious what happened here. We have some water staining. Water staining on the interior, that's going to be tough. Water staining on the cover. Stress lines, rippling. Surprised I had some rippling there. This was pressed before sending in, but we'll see if we can see that. And then multiple creases. Yeah, so there's your 1952 Jackie Robinson. See if we can take a look at what they're seeing here. That's probably some of your staining here. There's a crease, so yeah, okay, so maybe it's not in as good of condition as I was thinking, but still kind of neat to have. I think I have a couple more of these to send in yet, so probably until I get something a little higher than that, I'll hold on to this Jackie, as Jackie Robinson is one of the guys that I collect and like anything of his. So quick look at the back here. All right, census for the 52 Jackie. So I had a 4.5. So that gives us two 4.5s, and we have a few above that. 5.5, a 6, 6.5, 7.5, 8. There's actually two 9.0s. So there's a 9.4, so that's a nice magazine from 1952. 13 total graded. Sorry, guys. Okay, sales on the 52 Jackie. So there was the only other one I could find was a 4.5, which is the same thing we have here, sold for $125. So at that point, it's not worth me selling it. I'll just keep it in my collection for that amount of money and see if I can upgrade it at a later date. All right. Let's move on to number 8. I think we've got 3 left here. Number 8. 7.5. All right. This is the second Jackie Robinson sport cover, like I was talking about earlier. October 1951. This one got a 7.5, which is a little bit better. That goes along with, I believe the 1949 in my collection is currently a 7.0, so this 7.5 will be nice to add to that. A couple of the greater notes: spine stress lines, foxing, and indent and creasing back of the bottom of the back cover. Like I was saying earlier, the 1949 and the 1951 Jackie, I like the imagery a little bit better on it than in that 52 where he's kind of jumping up in the air. So yeah, really like this cover, and I think it presents really well. One thing that some of these sport magazines are notorious for are these staple marks that you can see here. That's how the magazine is bound, and those staples on lots of these sports magazines will look exactly like this looks. I've been told that they don't deduct you for that at all on your grade, and I would concur with that. I have not seen any grade or notes about the staples popping like they do there. Quick look at it. I think this cover is pretty clean. Yeah, yep, that's it's a nice looking magazine. I will definitely take a 7.5 from 1951 of Jackie Robinson. Take a look at the back. There you can see a little bit of staining and foxing there. Those lines, again, that's something I tried to get out before I sent it in, and just was not coming clean at all. So all right, very cool. I love that one. That one will go in my collection. Okay, so I got a 7.5. There's actually quite a few higher, it looks like. There's now 6 7.5s, 4 8.0s, 2 8.5s, a 9, and a 9.2. So 32 total graded of this cover. Sales data on the 51. So there was a 4.5 recently sold for $150. There was a 6.5 sold for $150, and there was an 8 sold for around $700. So I'd put this 7.5 close to that range. So another one that I'm very excited to have part of my collection anyhow. All right, cool. Number 9, 2 left here, guys. 7.0. All right, so another sport magazine, January 1957. This is Wilt Chamberlain's first sport cover. This is, yeah, when he's in his Kansas uniform. Again, cool imagery. Some of these sport magazines really do have some cool imagery to them. So, like I said, I see them, and they're a little bit cheaper than some of the Sports Illustrated from the same time frame, and I like the covers on them. So I just go ahead and pick them up, and yeah, 7.0, that's in pretty decent condition from 1957. Spine stress lines on this one, multiple creases, finger bends, and light tanning. So let's just kind of do a zoomed out view here. Again, pretty cool looking magazine. Again, you can see the staple marks like I mentioned in the previous one. So all right, take a quick look at the back here. Cool, very neat. All right, census on January 57 Wilt. You remind myself I had a 7 here, so there is now 5 7.0s, there's 6 7.5s, 2 8.0s, and 3 8.5s for your top pop. 28 total graded. All right, and on the sport, Wilt Chamberlain, looks like recent sales, a 6.5 sold for $425, 7.5 sold for $750, and 8.5 sold for $1505. So, you know, based off those numbers, I'd like to think this 7 would be in that $600 range somewhere, just throwing something out there. But yeah, I will take that. Okay, last one, and this is going to be a Time magazine, and just going to preface with, I think this could possibly get a green label. I hope it doesn't get a purple label for restored. I didn't see any restoration on it, but if I remember right with this episode, this issue, there was pieces of pages missing. So yeah, I'm guessing I may have my first green label here, but let's see what happens. All right, number 10. And it is a green label. All right, so this is Time magazine, April 14th, 1941. Ended up getting a 3.5. And like I said, I knew this was not going to grade well, but I think the cover is really cool just for a historical perspective. It's obviously Adolf Hitler on the cover, um, and I, again, like I've said in the past, I'm big into history. Love everything to do with that. So, Adolf Hitler is not a wonderful person, but is a historic person, and Time had him on their cover. Um, Found this one, went ahead and picked it up. It presents pretty well. I believe that the pieces that are missing is on the inside of the magazine. So just looking at it, once it's graded and encased, it looks fairly good. But most of your deductions in grade and the fact that it is a green label come from missing pieces on the inside. And they kind of detail it here. Large pieces cut from multiple pages. So they actually detail out how much of it is missing. A third of the piece of page 65 and a third of the piece of page 99 are all missing. And then we got some water staining. We've got some writing. Choose. Spine split the bottom and spine stress lines. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. There is the April 14th, 1941 time of Adolf Hitler. And again, I think it just, from a historical perspective, it's a cool magazine. Not one that you see every day. So I'm happy that I got that one graded, even though it came back with the qualified grade. Like I said, I knew going into it was probably going to be qualified. Quite a bit of stress lines on the spine here, but still, just from kind of a zoomed out view, I think that presents pretty well. So go to the back. The back is actually in pretty decent condition, short of somebody had done some writing on it. And actually, the reason I was hoping this was not going to get a restored grade is there was actually some additional writing up here in this white boundary that I was able to erase a little bit, clean up. And I've kind of heard conflicting reports about, if you do that kind of cleanup, some people have reported getting restored grades, where I guess to me it's not restored, it's just kind of cleaned. But that's why I was hoping I wouldn't get the restored in it, and it did not. So other than the writing on it, there's foxing on it here. But yeah, I think it presents well still. So happy I got that one graded. Let's take a look here. Yeah, and there was also a little bit of writing here. It looks like that was erased some. Little chunk missing here. So obviously not a great condition magazine. So I'll take that 3 and go with it. Short of, like the outside of the magazine itself, the picture on the magazine still presents really well. The time and the picture presents well, and like I said, just from a historical perspective, I think that's a pretty cool cover. So yeah, 3.5. Okay, not able to pull a census because that is the only qualified green label of this one. So let's look it up the hard way here. April 14th, 1941. Time 1941, April 14th. Let's click into this, and this will show us what else has been graded. Okay, so here is your newsstand copy. Eventually my qualified will show up in this list here, but there are 9 currently graded, anywhere from a 7.5 till a 2.5. And then it looks like there's also 3 subscription edition copies of this graded. So not a lot, 12 total altogether, 13 now counting mine. So, all right. Well, that is the end of my run here, guys. Some hits and some misses. Definitely happy with that Jackie that I got, the Jackie 1951. I'll definitely take that. And honestly, all of them are about where I expected them to be. So no huge surprises to me. A couple that'll be added to my collection, a couple that'll be listed for sale. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and until next time, have a good one. See ya.